What's going on? Welcome back to Father to Six. I am the General. Yeah. Alright. Man, I want to talk about just the power of perspective. The power of perspective. The way you see things, how you see things. And that's what I want to talk about today is how you see things, perspective. Have you ever noticed how different people can see the same thing in completely different ways? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You ever had somebody you're talking to and y'all having a conversation about a topic or whatever the case may be. And what happened? Y'all start arguing. Start arguing, right? And you're like, bruh, man, you're like, how do we get here? And you got here because you've seen things from a different perspective, right? And maybe it didn't get to the argument to the point where it's out of hand or nothing like that, but nevertheless, disagreement became into an argument, or maybe something at work, at school, or just whatever scenario you've been in. But you know what I'm talking about, where seeing things from a different perspective cause a clash, which caused an argument, you know what I mean? Or something thereof like that, right? This is because our perspective or how we see things can change our experiences and our actions. And when I say we, I'm talking about everybody, not just you who watching the video, not just me, but everybody. My intention for this video is to share with you 8 different points of views we can use to become better thinkers, better friends, better problem solvers, and better people overall. Something I discussed with the kids at dinner last night, you know what I mean? And I'm like, let me just throw this out there. This is good right here. So here we go. We're gonna go with the first thing. And as I'm speaking, don't take this as this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in these orders. It's just how I got it written down right here, you know what I mean? So here we go. Being flexible. Being a flexible thinker. Being a flexible thinker means to be able to look at situations or problems from various angles and adopt our thoughts accordingly. A flexible thinker. So when I'm thinking about flexibility, you can move around like a gymnast, right? You're flexible. My schedule is flexible. I can move it around. So when your thought process is flexible, you're not just thinking about doing things just one way. Also known as narrow-minded, right? But I have many different paths of thinking, thought processes, right? I can see things or think about things from different angles and different perspectives, not just from mine, but maybe from the other person's point of view, maybe from this other person over here, maybe from this angle right here. Maybe I can try it a different way. A flexible thinker is someone who can think differently, okay? Think differently and not the same all the time, right? When we consider multiple perspectives, when I say perspectives, that's just our thoughts. Our sight, how we see things. When we consider multiple perspectives or multiple viewpoints, we develop the ability to adjust to new situations and find creative solutions to problems. So when we consider thinking multiple ways, different ways, more than one way, more than 2 ways, you then create the ability. You're able to now adjust. Y'all know what adjust mean? Like, you ever get in the car as a driver, or you in the seat and you got to adjust that joint, move it to the right position so it can be absolutely most comfortable. When you get in the bed at night, right? And you know what I mean, is you turn the fan on. Who sleep with the fan? Hit a like button if you sleep with the fan, right? You get all snuggled up in there, you know what I mean? And it's not just, you don't just get in the bed and just go to sleep. Sometimes you do when you're mad tired, you know what I mean? But you get, you gotta do a little 1, 2, you know what I mean? Tuck it up, maybe a leg outside the cover, maybe all the way in. But when you get fully adjusted, right, now you comfortable and you're able to do what you need to do, right? So when we develop the ability to adjust, you're able to adjust to, to new situations and find new creative solutions to problems, right? So now you got a problem You're adjusting to solutions through being able to think through a different viewpoint, think through a different way, have a different way of thinking. These skills, and this is a skill, right? And just like any other skill that you have in life, you're gonna have to practice it. So you're like, yo, General, I want to be a flexible thinking. What you said ain't working. Well, how long you been working at it, bruh? Sis, it's a skill. So you gotta keep on at it, because the more you work at it, the better you get at it. Holla at me, right? So these skills help us understand that there isn't just one right answer, right? Because, I always heard the saying growing up, there's more than one way to skin the cat, right? Which means there's more than one way to do something. My scenario I use with people is like, yo, it's more than one way to get to Florida, right? It's not just one road to take you to Florida, one way. You can walk, you can drive, you can fly, you can boat it, get in the boat, and you can take different paths there, right? So these skills help us understand that there isn't just always one just right answer to everything, and that there's different approaches that can lead to success. There's different approaches that can lead to success. And I'm not saying that be a flexible thinker and, there's only one way to do, there's multiple ways to do things. I'm talking about for just everything. Yeah, there might just be times where, this is the only option. But we talking about being a flexible thinker, right? Thinking not just that my way is the only way, my way or the highway, as they would say back in the day. You know what I mean? So being a flexible thinker, this is very important, to think differently. You know what I mean? Because you can solve problems and come up with solutions with a different mindset, a different thought, and not just doing the same thing over and over again. All right. Number 2, understanding others. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Understand and share the feelings of others. Empathy. By putting ourselves in someone else's shoes and considering their perspective, their viewpoint, right, we can better understand their emotions, their thoughts, and their motivations. This helps us build a stronger relationship, communicate more effectively, and work well with others in group settings. When I say group settings, I'm not just talking about school or work, but just a group setting is anybody included plus you. So you plus anybody else. All right. Understanding others, right? Why is this person thinking this way? Why is this person doing that? Right. And a lot of times I don't really like to assume. So I ask people, yo, what's going on? Why? Tell me what you're thinking. Right. Well, how'd you come up with that? Oh, okay, cool. I understand. And that's understanding others. There's many different ways to understand others. One is by asking, right? Another is by empathy, putting yourself in their shoes, their feelings, and seeing how they feel. Empathy. So this helps us build a stronger relationship. And when I say relationships, I'm not just talking about intimate relationships, romantic relationships. I'm talking about, relationships on the job, relationships at school, relationships with your neighbors, relationship with your family also, right? Relationship with wifey, hubby, relationship with whoever you got, whatever type of relationship that you have. This helps by understanding others. It helps build it stronger, right? Communication helps your communication be more effective, right? Because you see somebody going through something, or now you put yourself in their shoes. Now you can communicate to them in an effective way that it calls for, right? I ain't gonna go too hard, because I know, bro, sis going through something, so I ain't gonna go too hard right now. I'm gonna take my foot off the gas pedal for a minute, pump the brake for a second, because this ain't the time or place right now to do it, right? Understanding. Number 3, bouncing back from tough times. Resilience is the ability to overcome from setbacks and keep going despite of challenges. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks and keep going despite the challenges. right? A setback, things that ain't going right. That stop you from moving forward. How do I recover from that, right? Because that's important, because a lot of times we going through life and damn, we hit something and it stop us from going. Sometimes we get hit so hard, it jump us back. It set us back. You know what I mean? You get hit so hard, you stumble back. That's how life is sometimes. You get hit so hard with something, an obstacle, a challenge. Sometimes it got you going 2-3 steps back. You're like, gots to be more careful. But this is what resilience is the ability to recover from those setbacks and then keep going despite the challenges, right? When we maintain a positive perspective, okay? Positive outlook, a good outlook in difficult situations, we are more likely to stay hopeful and motivated. So when you're thinking about the good in things, you know what I mean? And the good in things, like, you know what? No matter what, I'm gonna keep going. This ain't gonna stop me, right? You staying motivated. It keeps you in a better mindset to be more hopeful, to give you the ability to keep going. This is part of resilience, right? It's a positive mindset. When we maintain positive perspectives in difficult situations, we're more likely to stay more hopeful and motivated. This helps us face challenges with determination. So we facing the challenges with determination. Determination is what? I'm going through this and I ain't stopping. I will get through. It allows us to learn from our mistakes. When we using resilience, we have resilience and bounce back stronger than before, right? Like, I'm going strong, but sure, I got hit. I'm getting back up. Like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go harder now, because I know the harder I go, I'm gonna overcome. Being creative. Creativity is the ability to think outside the box. I need somebody to say, think outside the box. Say it out loud with me. Think outside the box, right? Type it in the comments and press the like button. Think outside the box. What's think outside the box, man? Thinking outside the box is being a flexible thinker. I'm gonna put that on there, right? It's going outside of the normal things that we would normally do. That's thinking outside the box, right? What I would normally do is this, but you know what? Thinking outside the box is, let me think about something that's we don't normally do, right? That's called creativity, okay? So the ability to think outside the box and come up with original ideas. A shift in perspective. A shift. What's a shift in perspective? Just think like when you type in and you press the shift key and then you press the letter. That shift key allows it to move from a lowercase to an uppercase. It's still the same letter, but it looks different. And it makes the word different depending on what letter it is, right? It may sound the same, but just the look of the word and how it's shaped gives it a whole different meaning, right? Put some respect on it. Holla at me, you know what I mean? So a shift in perspective can inspire creative thinking by encouraging us to look at problems from a different angle. All right, so shifting your perspective. It's a shift in perspective could be a slight move, a slight look in a different way, right? It may not be a whole move, but shift is up to the individual. Because sometimes a shift can be small, sometimes it can be a big shift. You know what I mean? A shift is a movement. Let's just say that. All right, a movement. All right, so a movement in your ability to see things. A shift in perspective is a movement in your way how you see things. Now that can inspire, which is like a flame inside you, right? Spark up in you creative thinking, okay? By encouraging us to look at problems from different angles. That's going to allow you to look at things from a different point of view. This helps us explore new situations with new solutions, right? Or just situations altogether with new solutions, new approaches, which makes us more innovative and resourceful. Just having more tools in the toolbox to do things when you're being creative, right? I'm not just using this one idea, this one way of doing things, but Being creative means I'm making up new ideas. I got other things I can use to keep going or push through or to get the job done or to solution. Number 5, growing and learning. Growing and learning. And growing and learning truly comes with experience. And experience only comes with time and doing. The more you do, the more you experience, the older you get, the more seasoned you get, the more you grow, or the more you're able to grow, and the more you're able to learn. You see what I'm saying? You just have to be exposed more. So growing and learning is being open to different perspectives that promote personal growth. Okay, personal growth. Like, what inside me, like about me, that I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to make larger, right? I want to be better at personally, right? That's what personal growth is. So being open to different perspectives push forwards personal growth by broadening our understanding of the world and ourselves. That's just saying it just makes our understanding of the world and ourselves bigger. All right. It encourages self-reflection. Self-reflection is just reflecting on yourself. What's reflecting on yourself? Looking at yourself. And I'm not just talking about in the mirror to see how, handsome you look, you know what I mean? How gorgeous you look, how good you looking, you know what I mean? Nah, self-reflection also means, let me look on the inside of me. And the inside of me is behind my flesh, right? My attitude, the way I think, how I'm moving, my goals in life. What I did yesterday, how I reacted to this person, how I reacted to that person. What am I doing in my diet, my mindset, just overall me, everything that's me other than my physical appearance, your personality. So all of these things right here are self-reflection, and you're looking at them. And usually when you do self-reflection, you do self-reflection for a positive thing. Sometimes people self-reflect and they beat themselves up. How? I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. What's wrong with me? I rebuke it. I rebuke it. Self-reflection is not meant for you to beat yourself up and flog yourself. Right? Beat yourself, flog yourself. Nah, that's not what self-reflection is for. Self-reflection is for you to identify the things that you can work on to become better in those areas by not beating yourself up, but by pushing yourself to be creative and develop and create better ways of doing those things. So for instance, let's just say with your speech, like, that's in the Marine Corps. In the military, a lot of people cuss a lot. F-bomb all the time, you know what I mean? F this, F that, it's just a way of speaking. But then some people are like, you know what? Let me do some self-reflection. And I notice that I curse a lot. And it doesn't call for using these cuss words all the time. So how can I look at myself and become a better speaker, right? Without beating myself up. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna be mindful. Whenever I see a woman or a child around, I ain't gonna cuss, right? Whenever I'm in a certain environment, I'm not gonna cuss at all, and I'm gonna do my best to do that, right? So if I'm not at work with the fellas, and I might be in the store, public place, I ain't using the F-bomb. Even, and I know I said women and children, right? But even with another man, because other people can be, feeling some type of way. When I'm in a church setting, you go to your religious setting, I ain't gonna use no F-bomb here, right? And I'm gonna do my best because I'm reflecting on what I can do and how I can become better, right? The last time I went on an interview, I wore sneakers. Okay, let me reflect on that. You know what? Let me wear some shoes to match my attire. If I'm wearing a business attire, right? Because my business attire may not call for sneakers. You see what I'm saying? So I'm reflecting on myself, on the things that I do to become better. That's what self-reflection is. So going back to growing and learning, it encouraged self-reflection. and it helps us recognize to see our strengths and our weaknesses, right? See our strengths and our weaknesses, recognizing our strength and weaknesses with self-reflections, right? With self-reflection. This is what I'm good at. I'm gonna keep using this. You know what? I ain't so good in this area, so I'm going, I'm gonna try to strengthen that. And how you strengthen something is by working harder at it, doing it more, right? Because the more we do it, the better we get at it. And the more we do it, we're doing it with making tweaks, which are improvements. So as we learn from various viewpoints, different types of views, we become more knowledgeable, right? So the more viewpoints I experience, right? The more mindsets I experience, the more different ways of doing things that I experience, and the more I do things differently, that is my experience, right? The more I become knowledgeable, because I'm learning knowledge, gaining, I'm knowing through experience. So I become more knowledgeable. I become more adaptable. What's adaptable mean? I can make a change and then fit in properly, right? And I can become better equipped. Equipped meaning I got the tools and resources I need, right, to face life's challenges. So when the next challenge comes, I got more tools, more resources. I can fit in better. I can adapt better. I have more knowledge. Okay, I've been through something similar like this before. So instead of me doing steps 1 through 3, I can just start at 4 because, man, I got this locked in. Or I know I got to go through steps 1 through 3 on this one. I can't skip, right? So growth and learning, right? Through experience, different viewpoints, becoming more knowledgeable. Next, solving disagreements. I started off talking about disagreements, right? So we all get in disagreements. We all have little, things that people do not agree on. And, a lot of people are like, well, agree to disagree. Sometimes that don't work. Sometimes that don't work, right? So it's called conflict resolution. How can I resolve the conflict, right? So conflict resolution is the process of finding a peaceful solution. When I say peaceful solution, we ain't fighting it out, right? Like we, sometimes, we're gonna fight it out. Whoever win the fight, win the argument. Nah, we ain't doing that. So conflict resolution, we're gonna do some conflict resolution, all right? Cause I know sometimes, some of us may have grown up in areas where this is how we resolve the conflict. We gonna duke it out, and whoever the winner is that's how we solve the conflict. But that's not how we doing it here, because we doing growth and learning. Because I'm giving you some gems right here. That way you can grow and learn, and now you can be more adaptable, knowledgeable, and now you can better face life, better equipped. So here's one of the things that you can equip your life with right here. It's called solving disagreements through conflict resolution. Say it with me. Conflict resolution. One more time. Conflict resolution. Thank you. So conflict resolution is the process of finding a peaceful solution to a disagreement or a problem. When we consider the perspectives of others involved in the conflict, when we're seeing things from others' point of view, the ones that's in the conflict, we can better understand their needs and motivations. You may not totally understand, but when you're looking at it from their point of view, and I say looking at their point of view, when you look at it from someone's point of view, it don't mean that you're agreeing with them, right? Because a lot of times people think like, if I see it from this point of view, if I say I'm gonna look at this point of view, that means I'm agreeing with them, and I ain't agreeing. No, that don't mean that. It mean that, let me just change angles for a second. You know what I mean? You see how from this angle you can't really see me because the mic is blocking, but if I go right here you see a little better, right? So let me change angles for a second and see how they see things, right? And that goes back to number 2, understanding others, right? So when we consider perspectives of others involved in a conflict, we can better understand their needs and motivations, what they need, what they're looking for, and what's driving them, motivation, what gives them the motive, the fuel to keep going with the way they're going, right? This helps us find common ground, okay? I see where they're coming from. And one of those points they're coming from is one of the points I'm coming from. Common ground, something that we both have in common, right? It helps us communicate effectively, because now you can say, you know what, bruh, sis, I see where you're coming from. Let me explain, and you can explain where they actually coming from. And now when people feel like you understand them, tensions come down, guards come down, and you're able to communicate more. When people feel like you understand them, how do people can feel like you can understand them? People feel like you understand them when you tell them exactly what they're saying. This is how you know somebody understand you. They saying exactly what you're saying. Now, I'm not saying it to agree. I'm saying it to let you know I hear what you're saying and I'm understanding. I overstand. I understand. I'm standing. You know what I mean? And I get where you're coming from. This helps us find common ground, like I said, communicate effectively, and work together to resolve issues. So instead of me just beating it down in the sense of like, I'm gonna keep arguing my point of view, you're gonna keep arguing your point of view. No, that's work together to resolve to an issue, to resolve the issue. Let's come to a resolution, a solution. All right, solving disagreements together. When we do it together, it's even better. Matter of fact, that's the only way you could do it, really. You know what I mean? It's together, right? Number 7, making good choices. Making good choices. This is an experience thing. Holla at your boy. You know what I mean? You know, just as my mom would say. You know, my mom would say this all the time, and I used to laugh at this. You know, shout out to Mom Dukes. Keep living. Keep living. I never laughed at her to her face, but in my mind she's like, keep living now, keep living. And my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep living. And the longer you live, the more you learn. And usually when you experience things and you're learning and growing and you're doing all these things and you keep living, you learn to make better decisions, which become good decisions. So making good decisions means considering multiple perspectives. It's like multiple choice. Making a good decision like multiple choice. I love multiple choice questions because you can narrow down the answer, right? You remember that? You know that, right? How they taught you in school. You got 4 choices. 2 of them look crazy. You know what I mean? And now you got 2 more to pick from. Now it's a 50-50 chance instead of a 25% chance. You see what I'm saying? So considering multiple perspectives before making a decision helps us weigh the pros and weigh the cons of each option more accurately. All right. So now I'm looking at each decision, right? And this is how you make good choices. Is this a good idea? What's the pros to this? What's the cons? What's the good? What's the bad to this? This allows us to make more informed choices. Anticipate potential outcomes, because I'm thinking about the outcome, right? I'm foreseeing it, right? Because I'm playing it in my mind. If I do this, this is gonna happen, this could happen, and then, you know, bam, 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 right? And select the best course of action for ourselves and others involved. Especially you a boss, you a parent, you in charge of people, right? I need to start thinking better, seeing the future, playing chess. You see what I'm saying? Play chess with your life in a sense, right? I'm gonna think before I move. And when you playing chess, you're not just thinking about this one move. You think about multiple moves in advance. Not only your moves, but the opponent's moves. And in this case, the opponent is life, right? So if I make this choice right here, if I make this move, how is life gonna respond back to me? Holla at me. You know what I mean? So making good choices, multiple choice. That's how you make good choices. Just think of it as a multiple choice question. And now, if I do this right here, is this a dumb idea? Just start off like that. Is this dumb? Yeah, this might be dumb. Let me not do this, right? And then you start narrowing down. Okay, you know what? This is not as dumb. This definitely ain't dumb right here. Oh, this is a great idea, right? You know what? I'm gonna go right here with this. This is good right here. You see what I'm saying? Last but not least, appreciating differences, right? And a lot of people don't really get this sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean to appreciate differences? It means to be grateful for something that's not the same of how you're thinking or how you're doing, right? It's more inclusive and it's more open-minded perspective. All right, it's a more open-minded perspective. So my mind is right here, let me open it out, right? Okay, a more open-minded perspective that leads to a greater appreciation for diversity. What's diversity? It means something different, for differentness. Okay, by recognizing the value of different cultures, different beliefs, different backgrounds. Okay, let me back it up. By recognizing, seeing it, experiencing it. Let me break down recognize. Okay, knowing, identifying, distinguishing. Okay, spotting, accepting, acknowledging, appreciating, understanding, admitting. Okay, by recognizing the value of different cultures. What's a culture? It's the way people live in different environments and different communities, right? Different ways of doing things, right? So by recognizing the value, okay, the value is what something's worth, right? So as I'm acknowledging the worth of different ways of doing things from different people's beliefs, from their different communities, from their different traditions, from their different backgrounds, where they come from, we can better understand interconnectedness. Okay, connecting together. All right, we can better understand that, how to get there for our world. And what world I'm talking about? I'm talking about your world. And I've talked about this before. Like, what's a world? The world inside you, and then the world directly outside you, and then keep moving forward. Right? This fosters tolerance, respect, and willingness to collaborate with others, regardless of how different they are. Right? So, appreciating differences. All right? And when people are different, they do things differently, and they have a different way of life and living, right? Number one, we gotta respect that. And what's respect mean? It means don't disrespect it. Everybody know what disrespect is. Don't spit on it. You know what I mean? Don't trample over it. Don't stomp on it. Don't disregard it. That don't mean you gotta accept it, right? But don't tell them, that's trash. That's garbage. I don't know what you thinking. That's stupid. Nah. Hey, I get that's different. And let me be polite. This is something I haven't done, I haven't rocked with, and I just don't see things that way. But I'm willing to hear it because I'm interested. And maybe you're not interested, but still hear them out. Okay? So this is how you can understand, learn more, right? Your perspective can get larger because we're talking about different viewpoints. How we can increase your perspective, your viewpoint. So the power of perspective is truly amazing. Right? The power of seeing things differently from different angles. Because we talked about just 8 different viewpoints right then and there. So being open-minded, I'm going to go back to 8 different viewpoints. Being flexible thinkers, understanding others, bouncing back from tough times, also known as resilience, being creative, growing and learning, solving disagreements, conflict resolution, right? Peaceful way, making good choices, multiple choice, right? And then last but not least, appreciating differences. Okay, open-mindedness, respect, diversity, different things, different cultures, beliefs, backgrounds. So the power of perspective is truly amazing. Like I said earlier, by being open-minded to different viewpoints, we can become better thinkers, better friends, better lovers, better sons, better daughters, better children, better parents, better fathers, better mothers, better co-workers, better bosses, better problem solvers. Most importantly, better human beings. So the next time you're faced with a challenge or disagreement, just remember to consider other people's perspectives. Consider, because you might be surprised by what you discover. Holler at your boy and leave a comment below. Hit that like button. Come back to this video and let me know how this worked out for you. Pass it on to somebody. Father to 6. Always leaving you with love, light, life, always. Peace.